Okay, here we are back again. Deadly Assault's refreshed, so let's go take a look at what we're up against this week. Or was it 2 weeks? It came up yesterday, so I'm a day late. Um, but it's about 13 days, so about every 2 weeks, something like that. So obviously we're bringing in Jane here, Yashing Wong here, and probably Sanby here. I think I'm gonna do this one first because I want to try both. So I want to try Sanby. Let's see. In here, we're bringing Yeshing Wong. I'm probably just gonna bring her stunner dial in here. So we're probably gonna do this. Well, I don't know. Last time when I did this, let's go see. I think yeah, okay, so that was the highest score. So anyway, point being that like either way, um, we'll see. The point being is that I wanna try different teams. So we're gonna do, let's see, we have ice damage, physical damage, and a bloom damage. That doesn't help us. Sheer damage, crit damage, attack, basic attack. It doesn't help us that much, but better than all the other ones. So we're going with this one. So what we're gonna do is I'm probably gonna try this first.
Nothing to fear. The cunning hairs are
Let's
here.
see. Are you built? You're not built too bad. I
Need
don't.
something?
If anybody has any
Just whisper.
suggestions,
Huh? Do you have a secret? Wait.
back to
Well, nothing
Nicole.
to need some good choice.
Again, I have her on a two-piece
The cunning
attack set
hairs
just
are
for a little
here.
bit more damage from her end. But like, if anyone has any suggestions for what other like, for the longest time, I have run her on this set here with the two-piece. It gives her 20% energy regen, but with it on and with it off, I don't really feel much of a difference. It doesn't matter. So obviously, like, if you have any suggestions, I'm open to anything you guys might suggest about like how to like what two piece or what offset I should run on her. I think ideally probably running like a two piece. Like if I want to squeeze a little bit extra damage out of her, again, Nicole, any damage she does is kind of less relevant. So I'm not asking like, how do we get more damage out of her? Again, it's not super relevant. But the point I'm trying to make is that like the 20% extra energy regen doesn't like help anymore because first of all, she's already got energy regen here, plus this two-piece set here, plus this weapon has main set energy regen and a huge bonus here, right? Because it's maxed out. So the point I'm trying to make is that we have so much energy regen that that little two-piece 20% extra, I don't feel a difference, right? It doesn't make any difference whether I'm running that two-piece or some other two-piece. So I figure we'll just dump a little bit extra of that in damage. Again, her damage is not really relevant. It's not that great. But the point being that, like, well, it's better than nothing, right? Because right now, the point is more energy regen basically feels like nothing. So the question is if anybody has any suggestions or maybe anyone's looked into this more mathematically, you can tell me mathematically what's like the best set to run on her if you want more damage out of her or more utility out of her, basically, is what the ultimate point of this is. See, like I could run this here, and then do I even have any other? It's not again. It's not like it's not
Need
vital.
something?
It's
Might be
just
able to
messing around
suggest.
because she's already so well built the way I have her that I don't really have anything else to do with her. Let's do main. I'm not looking for main stat. Number of sets. How many of these pieces do I even have? One, a two, and a five. This one's pretty good, I think, but I don't think you can use that. So it's either this one and this one, which I'm going with this one. This one's not too bad, but this one is probably the best one. So I'm gonna mess around with her a little bit. Some of those pieces that I have, that two, like those four, I don't use them,
Nothing
but
to
I did
fear.
find good pieces for
Need
them. So as a
to
two set, I kind of keep them there. Let's see, this is a plus three, four, five, six, seven, compared to 4, 5, 6, 7. So they're about the same value. However, this one has more crit damage. Um, and the offset, like his defense, which doesn't matter. Here we get pen, which again isn't great, but it's better than nothing. I'm just kind of messing around here, so we're gonna try. This one looks pretty good. I like that one. Or that one looks pretty good too. Anomaly. I think I'm gonna go. This one's a what? +6, and then this one's a +3, 4, 5, 6. This is also a +6, but we do get a little bit of crit damage out of this one. So we're gonna go with that one. And up here, hopefully I have a decent energy regen piece here. These kind of suck. Ugh, yeah, these are not good. HP, impact, HP, whatever. I'm stuck using... I guess I could run... No, and I can't run that one. I need energy regen. Yeah, this is the only one I can use is this one. Which just sucks because look at all that HP. It's such a waste. This set might end up being worse than what she had before. I think I have more crit damage now. I have 75 crit chance. A little bit more attack. Plus, I do have 15% or 10% more ether damage. I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't matter. Like the point I'm trying to make with her is that you're splitting hairs at this point where you're like, oh, what do I do? Do I do this? Do I do that? I don't know. Just do whatever you want because they're not going to make much of a difference in between, you know, swapping these out or whatnot. This one might honestly be better than what she has on here for this one, but the pen ratio is kind of useless because she stacks so much defense shred on this team that it's like, you know, why? That's kind of the main thing. Anyway, it'll take more tweaking. Like I said, I'll probably put it back to what you saw earlier, but I don't know. We'll just try this, see what happens.
My services are expensive.
The main reason I gave her attack percentage, the 2-piece attack percentage, is because this team has no attack buffs. She gives out crit damage to trigger with her special effects or whatever, and then she gives out a bonus damage. She gives out crit damage from her set plus defense shred, and then just straight up damage boost from her passive ability where she gives the stun damage multiplier. And then she gives out defense shred. She gives out a damage bonus from her weapon, a damage bonus from her set, and then crit chance and a bunch of other stuff from her passives and all that stuff. So there's no attack buffs on this team. So the main reason I wanted to run her on the 2-piece attack set is to boost that attack because we don't, you know, we're lacking attack in every other sense of the way. But I don't know. Like I said, honestly, I'll probably switch back to that. So I'll pause here and then I'll come right back in a second. Okay, so we're back. Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep it like this. This keeps me at 70% crit chance, plus 100 crit damage. Not bad. Ultimately, I think at the end of the day, I'm probably just gonna have to go back with the 2-piece energy regen set, the 2-piece swing jazz, because let's go here. Reset. Because the extra 20% energy regen, even though it doesn't feel like it makes a difference, I think mathematically it does make some difference, and her bubble is so important that you have to keep it up as much as humanly possible. So I do think that probably I'm just going to go back with that, but I don't know. I just feel like having some fun anyway. So we're going to go in here. We're going to try her. We're going to try this team, and then I'm going to try like this team with Zhao, just to see, from my mind, how they compare.
The faithless are a blight upon this world.
I think this boss specifically, Zhao will perform better because you don't have to worry about timing. One of the most irritating things with this boss is having to time your damage. Oh my gosh. You have to... One of the things I hate about this boss is to get the most damage out of her, you have to waste time parrying to get the crit damage buff stacks. And that doesn't always line up for whenever you have a Nicole bubble or, you know, whenever, because you have to, first of all, you have to get all of Trigger's little bar up there full, her passive bar. You have to get Sanby's triple marks up. You have to get Nicole's bubble up and all that stuff. So all these things you have to manage at the same time as whenever she throws up a yellow flash, you just have to block it because, first of all, you have to get up to 6 stacks, then you have to maintain those stacks. And she doesn't always throw up yellow flashes, which means if you block and then you're like, okay, I'm at 6 stacks, and then she throws another yellow flash out, you're like, okay, I can afford to like not parry that one and just keep doing my combo to maximize damage. She might go another like, you know, 5 or 10 seconds without throwing out another yellow flash, and now your stacks reset because you didn't capitalize on that one block, right? So it's just an irritating boss to fight. I don't like the mechanics. I don't like the setup behind it. Again, it's not well, partially it's a skill issue, but it's not a skill issue to the point where I can't do it. It's just not the type of mechanic I like fighting with. So anyway, if you're fighting this boss and you're noticing that like your rotations are optimal in your head, like I can fight her with optimal rotations, but I lose a lot of DPS because I'm not parrying, right? So if you're doing this boss and you're fighting, try throwing in some parries to like reduce your rotations, like make them slower, or just don't worry about your rotations as much. Just throw those blocks in, stack up the crit damage buff, and then start throwing out your rotations whenever they're at max. Then you'll see a huge difference in the score performance. In terms of just actual like gameplay performance, like skill, like the skill of how you pilot your team, the mechanics of the boss hinder your ability to be skillful with your team. You have to slow down and be like, okay, I'm skilled enough to keep doing this, or you know, make my rotations optimal, but I have to slow down because the boss says, you know, whatever mechanic is in place. So I don't know, it's just really irritating.
Must not be profaned.
I missed that one. I keep forgetting that. See, like, not every... Oh, I'm out of blocks somehow. Come on.
This bullet will reach its mark. Down strategy. Fire! Forge the path I tread!
She's like so close to getting stunned, it's so irritating. Oh, what? I got the dodge! I got the dodge!
The tide of fate! Sink!
See, the stacks reset. But it's okay, because mainly... she does that every time, so you don't have to worry about it too much. We're just gonna hit her with this. I really messed up this stun rotation. Oh, the stun rotation is awful. Come on. Look, this doesn't even count to her parry thing, so I have to restack that buff again. Oh, there we go. Well, I got 4. And again, with this boss, you don't have to stack up her thing all the way to 4 shots every time. We're just gonna hit her with the ult, because why not? I don't have anything else to do here. I swapped her in, and I actually have a bubble ready, so I don't think she did anything. So what did we hit? We hit... it took me 5 minutes, apparently. 30k. The buff wasn't specialized for Sanby, so that kind of makes sense. Again, it's just this boss requires so much interruption of your basic combo strings that, like, it makes it so that when you use someone like Zhao, and this is what's kind of irritating, like, in certain situations, Nicole can outperform Zhao, but having bosses that don't let you, like, you know, do your rotations properly, you know, I understand the variety because you don't want to be going into the boss and just doing the same kind of combo over and over again. But the problem with that is it makes, like, the more complicated the bosses are, the more simple the characters work. So, for example, because she's more complicated and you have to kind of interrupt a lot of your stuff you're doing, Nicole gets interrupted, so you don't have your bubble up as much as you need to. You start wasting stacks. And again, this is just a skill. It's just don't take it too, like, dogmatically in terms of I'm saying the boss is badly designed. But the thing is, she's more complicated, so it makes someone like Zhao a higher you can get an easier score higher. Not necessarily because you're less skilled, more just because the inherent way the boss works makes it so that having a buff like Zhao's that gives you a 10%, 1000 attack buff plus the 35% damage buff plus whatever else she does in her little set. Having that just be there kind of like passively for the whole fight ends up obviously outperforming the things Nicole can do. So I don't know, it's one of those things that's like, well, that's kind of irritating that, like, just like this boss would be so much easier if I didn't have to worry about this stupid blocking stacks for this. Like, if they took this off, it wouldn't necessarily make it easier, but it would make it so that, like, Nicole can compete with Zhao. But the way it is now, because I have to maintain these stacks, Nicole ends up falling short because if you don't maintain these stacks, it doesn't really matter how well you perform. You're losing so much damage that it's, you know, it's just not viable, right? So anyway, the point being is that, like, we got 30 on the first try here. I'm gonna run this one again, and we're gonna use Zhao because why not? Where is she? Here she is. We'll have to see what she's wearing. So we'll see how she performs. I think she's gonna do better than Nicole, but I'm not, like, guaranteeing that she is. Obviously her set, like, the set I had on her before was so perfect, but right now this is her set. I don't know if I showed off the build here, but this is the build for these. 84, 221, and here's this. So with Zhao, here we go. Yeah, let's try this out anyway. Again, having Zhao's buffs be more passive, where she doesn't have to keep swapping in to get her stuff up, makes her just more easy on this boss, I think.
The faithless are a blight upon this world.
Let's see if I can stun her. I don't think I will, though. You really have to chain cancel when you're using Zhao. Because Zhao takes up too much time on her chain attack. Like, if you're using Nicole, it's better because she actually gets her bubble up, and that's good. We're out of buff, but let's see.
Their poison is my grace.
I'm at 10 grand. I don't know what I had last time.
Listen carefully. Sink. To define.
There we go. Ah. Normally I prefer when she doesn't have energy, so that that long whatever doesn't happen. I'm gonna hit the ult with this, and then... Come on! It didn't give me the quick assist! What do you mean? Oh my gosh, that was... Normally, her ult, quick assist's out! That was terrible, man. Now I'm, like, just pissed. Oh, that was a waste of a buff duration. We're just gonna hit her with the ult and stun her. The reason I swapped over to Zhao to do her ult was like, okay, we'll get Zhao's ult damage during the stun window. And then when she'll quick assist out, because she has that quick assist pretty early. She quick assists pretty early into her ult, so half of her ult is active while you swap into whoever you're swapping into. So I figured we'll have just both ults running at the same time. So the point being is that even though that happened, we're still outperforming the Nicole team regardless. By quite a huge margin, I think. Even with that giant mistake. Not by a huge amount, but 2,000 still isn't nothing to sneeze at. I think, what, 31 or 30? 32 even, so we beat them by 4. Which isn't bad necessarily, but, you know, like I said, it's just the way... It's not necessarily because Zhao is significantly better than Nicole. I mean, obviously, I think she is better than Nicole for most factors. Like, again, 1,000% buff, plus the 18% Bunny in Wonderland, plus the 35% from her passive. And then I run her on the Tusks of Fury, so it's another 18% plus more impact. I think all those factors obviously throw her over Nicole. But Nicole, I feel, should be a lot closer. But if it weren't for the boss's mechanics inherently limiting you by forcing you... I don't like being forced to engage with mechanics. Like, here's my mentality on this. And you can feel free to disagree. I'm not saying it's dogmatic where we have to agree this way. But here's my thing. So if you have... Let's say you're fighting this boss. We have a parry mechanic in the game. I think if the parry is worth doing... That's it. You know what I mean? Like, if the parry was worth doing, I would do parries. And there are some bosses where, yes, it's worth parrying, so I'm going to parry. But arbitrarily giving you some stupid buff that unless you have it maxed out, you're losing so much DPS, to inflate the value of the parry, right? Because if the parry was valuable enough on its own, you wouldn't have to give me this buff to incentivize me to parry. I would just parry because it's worth doing, right? But let me have that decision, right? So the reason I'm so bothered here is because I can fight this entire boss without parrying and just dodging. You know why? Because Sanby gains more from dodging than parrying, because her dodges give her the dodge counter or whatever. The dodge counter gives you half of a star. So I would rather dodge everything to build up her star marks to do the triple dash more often. But the way this boss is designed, it doesn't let me make that choice. Now, granted, there are still some times where I dodge and all that stuff. But now I have to monitor and make sure I don't lose the parrying buff. So I have to keep throwing parries in there when mathematically it doesn't, like, for Sanby, it doesn't really, like, encourage that. So now I have to play Sanby in a different way fighting her. Anyway, the point being is that, like, again, I see the vision, I see their idea in terms of, like, variety and all these kinds of things. I just don't agree with being forced to engage with mechanics. Like, again, the parry is a good thing, and there's a lot of enemies out there, a lot of teams out there that value the parry. Like, if you're using, like, Jane Doe with Nangong is fantastic because the parry's good. Because Nangong gains so much days off the parry. But you don't get a lot from parrying with Sanby, so I almost never parry unless, like, you know, like if I'm fighting the Jester, you have to parry during his miasma phase to take him out quicker or knock him out quicker. That's okay, I understand that. Or even miasma. Like, I don't mind parrying when miasma comes up because you shred miasma easier using parry attacks, right? What I don't like is being forced to parry when it's not optimal for the player, right? So again, It's not an issue. It's just me personally. I don't like being forced into mechanics. Again, if the mechanic is worthwhile, the mechanic in itself should be worthwhile. And there's times with this pairing. It's just I don't like having that choice taken away from me and being forced into a play style. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. That's what I'm always complaining about with this boss is the fact that you have to parry her every time makes her really irritating. If I didn't have to parry her, it would make running Nicole so much easier. Not only so much easier, but like you could really do some flashy stuff. I'll probably after this, I'll record another one later once I do all the 3 deadly assault bosses. I'll probably do another one later where I show off like let's pretend that buff doesn't exist and I'm not going to parry anything. It looks way better doing like a Sanby Nicole team because every time that bubbles up, you just launch it and you go into Sanby and you get all your damage out. Because you're not wasting time parrying, you can just dodge counter and then you get your stacks up really fast and you're just constantly lightning dashing, right? So that's kind of my thing is like there's greater skill expression without being when you're not forced into doing mechanics for the sake of being forced into doing them. Like there's no reason. Again, the parry has its advantages, but why is the game forcing me to do them for no reason other than just because, right? I don't know. That's kind of my main thing. Is this buff here having like losing because I might and we'll see how it looks like if I don't parry at all and I just play Sanby the way Sanby wants to be played. In a different video, we'll see that. But once we show that off, we'll see kind of the difference because I'm pretty sure this drops you down like maybe 2,000 to 3,000 points if you're not stacking this buff up, which is insane. But yeah, I don't know. That's just me. That's my 2 cents. That's one of the reasons I don't like this boss is the boss is fine. She's fun to fight against. I'm not, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. It's just that line of text of like, hey, you're going to be doing suboptimal damage if you don't play the way we want you to play. And the way we want you to play is just constantly parrying her and monitor and babysit. Basically, that's what it is. You're babysitting that buff by parrying when it's not optimal. Now, you can sit here and mathematically play out like, okay, she throws out a yellow flash every 10 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, you could do all that stuff, but like, that's not why you play Zenless. You play Zenless to just be acquainted with the mechanics and express them in the end game. In this case, being the end game, right? Anyway, that's enough ranting. You guys just saw it. I think it was, like I said, 28 with Nicole, 32 with Zhao. Fortunately, Zhao was free, so I'm telling you, like if you're having struggles, it sucks that she's not available now. But Zhao for like the broader free to play, whatever was like a huge boost to everybody. So I'm glad we got her. It's just her play style is very simplistic. So she just comes in, EX specials and leaves. Comes in, ults and leaves. Comes in, if you have her little bar, her passive bar full, it just triggers a free quick assist. So that you just come in, quick assist and leave again. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's kind of, that was all. So see you guys in the next video.